and went high in the air.
Welcome to NFL Primetime, delivered by Papa John's.
Hi, everybody, and welcome into another edition of NFL Primetime. As always, glad you're here with us. Trey Wingo alongside Merrill Hodge and Trent Dilfer.
You guys look good.
You all right? You all right?
You look sharp. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Well, heartburn?
TV timeout?
My bad.
TV timeout, please. 20
Lots to get to today, including some strange games where the statistics didn't quite add up with the results. We'll get all to that. But, of course, there is a huge Monday night showdown at the Meadowlands tonight. Brett Favre and Randy Moss and the Vikings in to take on the Jets. Of course, all kinds of circulation and things going on around Brett Favre and what's happening with the NFL investigating him. And for the latest on things on the field, let us go to Michelle Tafoya. Michelle.
Well, hey, Trey, you know, in practice this week, Randy Moss dropped 3 of the best deep balls Brett Favre says he ever threw. And Favre joked with us, he thought Moss was going to get cut after that. But then Moss made one of his signature one-handed grabs that blew everyone away and reminded them of why Moss keeps defensive coordinators awake at night. Now, Favre and Moss together watched film of Moss's earlier performance against the Jets week 2, where he had a similar one-handed touchdown catch against Pro Bowl corner Darrelle Revis. They liked the look of that. Now, how Moss is going to fit in exactly tonight remains to be seen, but Trey, you can bet that Favre and Moss will look at Revis and go after that injured hamstring early in this game.
All right, Michelle, thanks. By the way, Brett Favre at a team meeting on Monday apologized to his Vikings teammates for being a distraction with the reports of inappropriate text messages and cell phone pictures and voicemails. The NFL is investigating that. They hope to have something fast-tracked soon and get a resolution. Eventually, they'll speak to Brett Favre in this. They have not done that as of yet. As for the game on the field, Merrill, Randy Moss, clearly this is a thing that the Vikings lack this year, a deep play wide receiver with the injury to Sidney Rice. Just exactly how quickly does he change the offense?
Immediately. You know, when you got Adrian Peterson and you got Randy Moss, it puts defense in what we call a quandary. You know, how do we line up? You know, how do we line up? How do we defend it? Do we want to use a run front and take care of Adrian Peterson? Or do I want to play coverage and defend Randy Moss? And if you go back to last year when they were throwing the football, and I'm not saying they had Randy Moss last year, but they were throwing the football, it put defenses in a quandary. They really had initially a cover 2 look. This is the Ravens here. Now the motion will change this up because the formation changes. We 2 wide receivers to the right, that safety will come down, the other safety goes back. Now, the safety that goes back, his responsibility is to support to the play side that Adrian Peterson eventually gets to, which is the backside. Because he is deep, he can't get there. Adrian Peterson has 2 options. AP hangs a big run on the Ravens. That's the type of quandary that they will be in when Randy Moss is out there. Do you decide to play coverage to Randy Moss? If you do that, your safety may be late to the backside or to some place. And if you choose to be down around there, do you have enough speed and depth back there to cover Randy Moss? So it's a beautiful thing for Minnesota, very difficult for other teams. Now the Jets, I know, will probably just play man-to-man. They don't care about cover 2, but for most teams it'll be a problem.
Quarterbacks, runners want the same thing. We want space to operate in. We want lots of space. Easier to do our job. Randy Moss steps on the football field, instant space. Everything gets this way when Randy Moss gets on the football field.
Well, that's something that the Jets defense is going to have to contend with now as they get set for this space they're trying to eliminate for Randy Moss and Adrian Peterson. For more on that, let's head back out to the Meadowlands and Susie Calver. And Susie, this Jets defense feeling pretty good about themselves right now.
And they get even better tonight because they get 2 of their best players back. Cornerback Darrelle Revis, who has missed the last 2.5 games because of a strained hamstring, and their best pass rusher, linebacker Calvin Pace, who has yet to play a game this season because of a broken right foot. So he comes back with fresh legs. And you know what? Toss in defensive end Sean Ellis. He bruised his knee last week, but he'll start. They all say they know their former teammate well, and what the plan is for Favre tonight, hit him as often as possible because we all know that Brett is tough, but he doesn't like to be hit. And when he gets hit, that's when he presses. You know that Brett has been beat up a lot this season. He's got a tendonitis in his right elbow. The Jets, they love to get after the quarterback. This is a quarterback who turned 41 yesterday, Trey.
All right, Susie, thanks. And we certainly saw the Saints do that to Brett in the NFC Championship game last season. Santonio Holmes, by the way, the wide receiver, Super Bowl MVP, also coming back to the Jets on that offense. But as you look at this offense, Trent, it's not a returning wide receiver, but a guy who plays about 3 or 4 positions that really has your eye right now.
It's hard when you look at the New York Jets not to get caught up in the star power. Santonio Holmes, Braylon Edwards, LT, Sean Green, Mark Sanchez, Dustin Keller. But I think maybe one of the most valuable weapons comes in their seminal package, Brad Smith. Brad Smith is a dynamic football player, and he had so much diversity to this offense. And the way they use him, you got to argue the Jets are the new sheriff in town when it comes to the Wildcat. They call it the Seminole, but Brad Smith under center, misdirection. How many players can you run this play with, Merrill? Starts to the right, reverses back, gash yards, 22 in all. Brad Smith, dynamic runner. 4. Now you put him in, now you put him in the shotgun, kind of looks like the pistol, little misdirection with LT. This is 3rd and 15, ladies and gentlemen. In a critical time of the game, he gets 16 yards on the clip. Line him up a receiver, misdirection, downhill run to Sean Green. Nope, reverse to Brad Smith. Now you get him on the edge. Look at the move in the backfield. Another 15 yards, and now as a thrower, once again, he takes the shotgun snap, misdirection on the reverse, comes downhill. Look, he's a runner. He's a runner. Defense going to come up. Nope. Pops the ball out as a thrower. Touchdown. Brad Smith, dynamic weapon for the New York Jets, and I love the way Schottenheimer's using them, putting them in the mix, Merrill.
You know, it's interesting. The first Monday night game that we watched with the Jets, it's not even close to what they're doing now. When you use the word versatility, Neion Tomlinson has brought this team versatility. This used to be a run to the right power team, and now it is misdirection, bend back, you know, easy release by the tight end. You talk about versatility in their running game. Even though predominantly they run to the right, they do it in so many different ways and so many different looks. With that Seminole, with LaDainian Tomlinson, the versatility with all of these packages. A nightmare for any defense to get ready for.
And then, of course, you throw in Santonio Holmes to the mix. You got Dustin Keller emerging with the big game he had against Buffalo. You know, that Jets passing offense right now, 24th, 25th in the league. Expect that number to climb up to smaller digits with Santonio Holmes now in the fold. Lots more coming on this edition of NFL Primetime. Listen, the New Orleans Saints, so explosive a year ago. The pop from that offense is missing. What's wrong? We'll head to their game in Arizona. Well, Peyton Manning was patient. And he needed to be, because the Kansas City Chiefs played an old Patriots defense against him, and it almost worked. Plus, Wade Phillips looks confused. The Cowboys seem discombobulated. The Titans are winners.
NFL Primetime is delivered by PapaJohns.com. Just a click of the mouse, Papa's in the house. And in part by Tabasco. So much more than hot.
Hi, Steve Young here. Watch Monday Night Countdown all season long here on ESPN America.
Johnson back to the right. He's got room 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone. Touchdown, Titans! Young rolls right, fires downfield. Man is there. Kenny Britt, touchdown, Titans! Young pumping, firing into the back of the end zone. It's caught! Kenny Britt, touchdown, Titans! Have a little fun. Let's score some points. The 19-year veteran, Brett Favre. Favre goes back to pass, fires into the end zone. Caught, touchdown. Favre goes deep, caught. Brett Favre, fade right, touchdown. He eludes an on-rushing Seahawk. Fires to the right, it's caught. He's going to go deep, caught. Brett Favre fires to the end zone. Touchdown.
We go through slumps, like everyone else. And when things start going bad like that, sometimes the best thing to do, watch the tape.
Now look right here, your shoulder, you're dipping it.
Really?
What concerns me is this motion here.
Yeah, but my posture's good, isn't it? Is that bad?
It's not good. I don't even know where to begin with this one.
Yeah, that was a poor effort.
Eventually, the great ones always figure it out.
Things obviously are neck and neck in potential to lead changes by the day.
I'm embarrassed.
Sports Center, weekdays at 0700 CET on ESPN America.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, delivered by Papa John's.
And welcome back to Primetime. Trey Wingo here with Merrill Hodge and Trent Dilfer. Let's just paint a picture, shall we?
Let's do it. You're a good painter.
Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints traveling to Arizona. A team, despite being tied for first going into Sunday, had scored 60 points less than the opposition at a 500 record. And they started a quarterback undrafted, Max Hall. Didn't seem like a recipe for a big win. Sure. Saints are up 10-3. Drew Brees drops back to pass and hits Liddell Betts in a bad spot, the hands, and it's picked off by Paris Lennon. Picked off by Paris Lennon. So then Max Hall, out of BYU, undrafted, starting for the ineffective Derek Anderson, comes in and tries to run it and just gets absolutely destroyed. And of course it goes right to Levi Brown, the big offensive lineman, who goes in for a touchdown. And just like that, we're tied at 10. Anderson actually had to come back in for that big hit for a while. That was
I love the effort. Quarterbacks being football players.
Effort was outstanding. Okay, it's tied at 13 here.
That maybe is because he's a young
Drew Brees trying to get something going, and no, that's no good. Broken up. Okay, Devery Henderson there. So 2nd and goal now. You see somebody doesn't like, got to burn a timeout. Go back to the sidelines. Remember, we're keeping track of timeouts here, okay? Next play, 2nd and goal. Betts up the middle, 1-yard gain. So they line up again. Wait a minute, I still see something I don't like. So that's 2 timeouts.
Like the motion.
In the second half wasted there. Then there's a false start penalty, so it's 3rd and goal from the 9, and Liddell Betts going nowhere there. So they can't convert, they bring out the field goal unit. Garrett Hartley missed the chippy, so he's not doing this anymore. John Carney.
I'm not going to kill John Carney because he's old enough to be my dad.
Well, that's irrelevant. Be consistent whether you like the kickers or not, okay? Liddell Betts apparently hit the eject button. Ball just pops out there. And then Kerry Rhodes, boy, he did a lot of this when he played for the Jets. Comes up with a big play at the right time, touchdown. Cardinals are up 23-13. Hang on, Saints aren't done. Driving. Breeze to Jeremy Shockey, and it's intercepted by Greg Toller. The Saints turn it over again. 24 seconds left. It's a 3-point game. Drew Brees got to try and do something. This one is picked up by Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. Now, the only way the Saints can still be in this game is if he does what? Runs around.
Or fumbles.
So exactly. So fall down.
But he scores, so it's over.
It's okay now. Cardinals go on to win big, 30-20. Listen, the Saints are just not the Saints right now. What in the name of Al Hurt is going on? We have the Jacksonville Jaguars that have scored more points through 5 games than the New Orleans Saints. And this was an offense that was so explosive last season.
Well, you know, they don't have Reggie Bush, and that's a big factor. You know, anytime you have at least one guy that you have to account for from a defensive perspective, it helps everybody else. It creates one-on-one matchups elsewhere. Even though Reggie Bush may not have astronomical numbers, he helps so many other peoples within the offense to set up for success. You go back and you look at just the early part of this year against Minnesota. This is an example of the priority that he is. When he's in the backfield, they want 2 guys. If they're going to play man-to-man across the board and double Reggie Bush, you can only have a single safety over the top. So now you got one-on-one matchups. Drew Brees likes it because Reggie Bush is occupied coverage. I like my one-on-one matchup with Shockey. I make a big play. I can make the right throw. Shockey makes a play on the ball. No Reggie Bush. Now teams can play cover 2, a lot more flexibility up front. Man-to-man, my corner, because I have help over the top, I can be aggressive with him. I can let him beat me over the top. Now, Drew Brees has to make a different throw. He has got to stick that in a tiny window. He underthrows it. The corner's able to play on it. An interception. More and more defenses from last week to this week, their flexibility, their creativity is so much better without having to worry about a guy like Reggie Bush. Now the Saints are giving stuff they didn't see last year, and especially the last 2 weeks.
You're absolutely. The Reggie Bush factor is huge, and how that affects the quarterback now, let me take you inside the mind of Drew Brees. And the great players in this league, if they have one flaw, is they try to do too much at times. They try to press, and they try to carry the load, especially when they're missing personnel. And what you're seeing from Drew Brees in this offense is they're starting to press a little bit and do things that are uncharacteristic. Another thing that happens, you start integrating new pieces to the puzzle. Liddell Betts at running back, if you notice, deflected ball to Liddell Betts. Interception. Fumble, Liddell Betts turns into points. Timeout. Liddell Betts in motion. Drew Brees doesn't trust he knows where he's going. Has to burn a timeout. The quarterback starts carrying this burden of, I got to do more than I've done in the past because I got to make up for a lacking in personnel. This Reggie Bush injury has a lot of layers that happen to it when he's gone.
Well, listen, the Saints are clearly not the same, and right now in their own division, they're looking up at both the Falcons and the Bucks in the NFC South. Oh, by the way, they're at Tampa next weekend. Suddenly that game got real interesting. Yeah. When we continue on primetime, when they absolutely positively had to have it from him, Peyton delivered for Indy, but boy, that Chiefs defense looked real good for a lot of Sunday. Meanwhile, Eli and the Giants showed us that once again the Texans are still indeed the Texans.
Turning Point is brought to you by Fidelity Investments. Turn here.
Monday Night Football live on ESPN America. Week 5 kicks off with a heavyweight showdown. Fresh off their bye week, AP and the Vikings head into the Meadowlands to battle Mark Sanchez and the division-leading Jets.
He's to the 20, cut back to the 15, Travis Sellers to the 5, to the end zone, touchdown!
Coverage starts tonight at 0100 CET with Monday NFL Countdown. Monday Night Football live on ESPN America, home of the NFL.
Listen to the crowd. They love their Vikings. Touchdown for Adrian Peterson. Sidney Rice has stolen the show. Fires to the end zone. It's caught! Greg Lewis! The Minnesota Vikings are on their way to play in the NFC Championship game.
All right, this is it. This is what you've all been working for. This is our one shot to do something very, very special. Our one chance to do something bigger than yourself. In these moments, they don't come around very often, folks. So you got to leave everything out there because there is no such thing as the next time. So let's get out there, people, and kick some tail.
Does he know that we do 5 shows a day?
Just go with it.
What if I told you he wasn't the greatest? That a country would fail to protect its greatest natural resource? That sometimes it is a matter of life and death? That no one can outrun the truth? What if I told you he's the only true Cubs fan? That you could heal all wounds with a fight song? That the man no one could stop tragically was? What if I told you running a marathon is easy? 30 stories, 30 filmmakers, 30 years. ESPN's critically acclaimed 30 for 30.
All this month on ESPN America.
Welcome back to Primetime. I'm Michelle Tafoya at the Meadowlands with this team report. Well, according to head coach Brad Childress, Brett Favre did not take any snaps during Sunday's practice. He's got tendonitis that was revealed by an MRI in his throwing elbow, so they're trying to give it some rest. So on the one hand, while his elbow needs rest, the quarterback, who turned 41 yesterday, says he doesn't have time to rest. He needs practice reps with newly acquired wide receiver Randy Moss. But one luxury Moss gives Favre, especially in their first meeting together, is that a quarterback doesn't need to be perfect throwing to Moss. He can catch about anything in his receiving radius.
Primetime rolls on. The unbeaten Kansas City Chiefs went to Indianapolis. And listen, Matt Castle and company know you got to take some chances if you're going to try and stop Peyton at home. So how about the opening kickoff? Missouri, Show Me State. They're going to show us an onside kick. Well, it didn't go 10 yards, and then you touch it. That's no good.
It does need to go 10 yards.
That's correct. Gets good field goal position. They get a field goal out of it, the Colts do. Actually, there's a win to keep them out of the end zone. Then later, 4th and 2 from the Colts 8. No, instead of a tying field goal, incomplete to Dwayne Bowe. Turn the ball over on downs. Peyton Manning having an off day, guys. It sure looked like Romeo Crennel was coaching up the 04-03 Patriots defense with the way they were mixing and matching their coverage.
They played a lot of nickel, a lot of dime.
That one underthrown to Reggie Wayne. And then a little bit later on, Manning for Pierre Garçon looked like he was impatient a little bit.
For the first time in a long time, I thought Peyton Manning got impatient, rushed his throws, got a little antsy in the pocket.
Had to settle for a field goal there, and then this one is just gift wrapped to John McGraw, and the Chiefs take over in Colts territory.
Notice they dropped 9 into coverage there, not 8.
Exactly, so all kinds of issues going on here. So it's a 9-6 game, all field goals. First down for Kansas City. Matt Castle to Dwayne Bowe, and that's a touch.
Wait a minute. Come on. You got to secure the catch and finish the whole thing.
You got to start the catch.
This is not a hard catch.
It's not.
You got to start that catch.
That's true.
Before you can finish it.
Probably help you.
So the very next play, let's go back to Dwayne. No, it's not Dwayne Bowe, it's Dwayne No at this point.
Now your confidence.
They had to settle for a field goal. Peyton says, whew, dodge one there. Okay, so it's 9-9. 9. Ferris has been absent 9 times. It's now 12-9, fourth quarter. Manning to Dallas Clark. Get over the yellow line. You can see it. It's right there for a first down. Actually, they can't see the yellow line.
They can't?
No, in case you were wondering. Manning to Austin Collie. That was a little off target, but Austin Collie comes up with a big catch. Now, Joseph Adai has a shoulder injury, so he's out. So they go to Mike Hart on 2nd and 1. And Mike Hart, the only touchdown in this game. Another big run for Mike Hart. How did that happen?
Well, we're going to get a couple seals. A seal to this side and a seal to that side. We're in an alley. My seal of approval and Mike Hart finishing the run. Play behind your pads. Break tackle.
I like the seal of approval.
Thank you. By the way, first time this year, no touchdown pass for Peyton, but the Colts are over 500, 19-9. Take a look at the Broncos and Ravens. Kyle Orton and company been throwing it all over the field all season. Well, Ray Rice had not been running with much authority. Before this game, a gain of 18. Lots of room there.
You know, one of the most critical things for a factor back is the ability to cut and move, agility. Ray Rice has all that along with power.
His first touchdown of the year right there made it 14-0. Let's move to the third quarter. You want to see more Ray Rice? Let's see more Ray Rice, Merrill.
Boy, all levels are blocked. We got seams, lanes, alleys. Look at the wide receivers downfield. Now you must complement that and finish by breaking tackles.
Big gain on first down. Later in the drive, it's just a simple 4, but it's also another first down. They ran for over 200 yards in this game, and Ray Rice had a big part of it. 27 carries, $133 and 2 touchdowns. They're cruising 24-7. And then LaRon McClain. Look at the block here. Get out!
We call that digging the linebacker out and get in my hip pocket because we'll take you to the promise.
Willis McGahee with a 30-yard touchdown. Ravens win 31-17. When we continue on NFL Primetime, this much we know. The Tennessee Titans know how to close out a football game. Jeff Fisher coaching them up. Meanwhile, Kevin Cobb back under center for Philadelphia. Dare we say Vic-esque for him in San Francisco? You cannot say the same for Alex Smith. Plus, the war of attrition really starting to catch up to the Green Bay Packers.
Welcome to the show. 2,430 games, more than 5,000 home runs, close to 3,000 stolen bases, and 22,419 runs. Over 2,500 grounds crew cleanings, 162 of them dancing involved, taking us to 73 million cheers and counting. In the end, it all sums up to one.
MLB, all season long on ESPN America.
He's at the 20, breaks the tackle. Touchdown, Ricky Williams. Get pressure, goes down again. Another huge pass rush by the Miami Dolphins. And the Dolphins have the interception. Vontae Davis, welcome to the National Football League. Heading under center. Fires deep downfield. Touchdown, Dolphins! Chad Henne put that right on the money. Lonnie Brown will take a direct snap. Breaks one tackle, moves to the right. He's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Dolphins. Goes up the middle. Touchdown, Dolphins. All right,
Miami. For the widest choice of official North American sports merchandise, for the perfect gift to collect or just to look good and support your team, visit espnamerica.com.
And I never got tired, so my dad started calling me AD for all day, and it stuck with me ever since.
I like that, AD, all day.
Yeah, so what's your nickname around here?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really have a nickname. Pretty much just call me Scott.
All day, what's up?
Same.
Hey, bedwetter.
Guys are always clowning, you know.
Bedwetter.
Told you that in confidence. Johnny, go ahead and get this fax out. All right.
Sports Center, weekdays at 0700 CET on ESPN America.
Tuesday night on ESPN 30 for 30, they present Once Brothers, the story of the friendship between Vlade Divac and Drazen Petrovic, a friendship destroyed by war and tragedy. Once Brothers, Tuesday, 8 Eastern on ESPN. All right, back to football. Cowboys off their bye, 5 straight wins. Titans 10 straight wins over the NFC. Something had to give at Jerry World. First quarter, Titans' first possession is 3rd and 5 from the Cowboys' 24. Vince Young rolling away from pressure, and it's a touchdown to a double covered and interfered with Nate Washington. 7-0 Tennessee. But that's not what's most interesting. Watch the eyes of Orlando Scandrick as he's going to cover. What's he doing?
Got to locate the ball. Nate
Where are you
Washington
looking?
does it, and the moment of truth goes up at its highest point.
But why?
And he's Titans.
But why would he think the ball is all the way out of the sidelines?
I can't answer that.
Some things make no sense. At one point, the Cowboys were down 17-3. They're down 17-10 in the third, and Miles Austin at the critical moment comes up with it, and he's gone. 69 yards for the touchdown. Boy, he is real good at finding that ball, Trent.
Yeah, and this makes a lot of sense if you're Tony Romo. Throw it up to Miles Austin. He'll make a play. He loves the moment of truth. Explosive football.
Game tied at 17. Later in the third, the Cowboys had missed a field goal to take the lead. They're driving on first down, and Martellus Bennett off his hands, picked off by Michael Griffin. Titans will get a field goal on the drive. They take the lead 20-17. Fourth quarter, we're now tied at 20. Tony Romo. Now, this looks like a terrible Tony Romo pass as it's picked off by Alteron Werner, but it really, that one you can't pin on him.
Not Doug Free, the left tackle. You got to attack that defensive end. Get his hands down. You can't lay down in front of him.
So that means the ball's tipped by David Ball, and that led to the interception. Tennessee would score on a Chris Johnson 1-yard run to go back up 27-20. The Cowboys answer, though. Romo to Jason Witten. Best play for him all year. Number 82 gets in. Touchdown. And he's unselfish. He gives it to Mark Colombo to Spike. It's all good. The big guy gets one. Now a chest bump. But wait a minute. By rule, you cannot have a celebration that ends on the ground. So because Mark was clumsy, it's a 15-yard penalty. They assess it on the kick, which means this kick, instead of going into the end zone, ends up at about the 15 or 16-yard line, and Mark Mariani is off to the races. He's already returned one for a score this year, and let's compound the error as David Beeler tackles him with a face mask. Remember, they're all 15-yarders now, so that set up an easy touchdown to go back up 34-27. One last chance for the Cowboys. Tony Romo, here's his day, over 400 yards for the first time. Almost has that one intercepted. That's no good by Will Weatherspoon. He had 3 touchdown passes. That's very good. You're looking at his 3rd interception of the game. Not so good as Stephen Tulloch ends this one. And the Cowboys fall to 1-3, 11 straight wins over the NFC by Tennessee. The final score, 34-27. Sometimes the numbers do lie. This is the aggregate scores for the Dallas Cowboys through their first 4 games. They average more first downs, more yards, all these kind of things. Time of possession is number 1 in the league. By the way, 421 yards per game, 2nd best offense statistically in the NFL. They're outgaining their opposition by almost 120 yards a game, and they're 1-3. One big reason why, they're -4 in the turnover differential, and the Cowboys have 38 penalties for 313 yards, more than twice their opponents. What do those numbers tell you about the 1-3 Dallas Cowboys?
2 things will always neutralize big-time numbers in offense: special teams, because those are hidden yardage, and turnovers. And then the little things, and we just saw it there. You know, Doug Free, the interception, that left tackle, he's got to attack that defensive end. If he does that, listen, in the huddle, the pass play that was called, the offensive line knows it's a 3-step drop. This is actually really good for me because I'm going to attack the defensive end, get his hands down. My job's done. If Tony Romo throws an interception or gets hit, that's on him because he's holding the football. Well, when that doesn't happen and Tony Romo does make the right throw and the defensive end stands there and knocks it down, it looks like Tony Romo made a bad decision, when in fact the left tackle gets too much depth, doesn't get everybody cut. Bennett, ball hits you in the hand. I know it's a tough catch. Yeah. He's a big guy, but that's why you got him down the middle, because he's a big, tall tight end. You want to throw it there where it hits him in his hands. He catches that. You don't throw that interception. It's probably a different day for the Cowboys just with those 2 things.
No doubt. And details. Talk about all the time.
Little
mistakes.
Things.
And what's that cost? It costs you to have the real stats that matter. Points. This league isn't about yards, it's about points. The way you get points, you maximize each possession. What keeps you from maximizing each possession is when you don't pay attention to the details, when you make mistakes, especially when you make those mistakes. When the Dallas Cowboys make mistakes, they make them and it causes them from creating offense, creating points. It costs them points. And in the consequence of those mistakes, it seems like for the Dallas Cowboys, they're a little snake bitten. When they make a mistake, which every team is making, they make them at the wrong times, and there's bigger ramifications to their mistakes than the other teams right now. I'm not excusing them, but if I'm a Dallas Cowboy and I'm watching that film, I'm going, golly, I saw 18 teams make that same mistake. Didn't cut the defensive end. For us, the ball floats inside because deflected. It's interception, costs the ball game.
But the bottom line is you got to say we got to stop making those mistakes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that is true.
The Cowboys had 500 yards of offense, 511 yards of offense, and somehow they found a way to lose that game. Next week they play in Minnesota, and Brad Sham, who does the play-by-play for the radio on the Dallas Cowboys, said that game's already 14-0. Do you know why? Randy Moss always scores at least 2 touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys.
That's good, Mojo.
Let's stay in the NFC East. The Giants traveling to Houston to take on the Texans, coming off that big road win against Oakland, and well, Akeem Nicks is now suddenly, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest receiver in the history of the world. Eli Manning connects for 15 yards out to the 6. Next play, back shoulder Akeem Nicks, and that's a touchdown, 7-0 Giants. Later in the first quarter, it's still the same score, and if you're not going to cover him, I'm going to keep throwing it to Akeem Nicks. Akeem Nicks cuts inside, ample room around him to run, all the way down to the 1-yard line, a gain of 27. Brandon Jacobs would score on the next play to make it 14-0. Maybe in the second quarter, Trent, the Texans will try and figure out we got to stop this Akeem Nicks mojo, right?
You would think they'd make that adjustment. The one thing I'm impressed with, though, is not just Akeem Nicks and his emergence, but it looks like Eli Manning now is throwing the ball more on rhythm when he's throwing to Akeem Nicks because he can get open now and he knows he can force it into him.
Throwing in rhythm, moving in style. Another touchdown. By the way, that's 6 touchdown grabs for Akeem Nicks already this season, more than he had all last season.
And one thing to piggyback on what Trent was talking about, look at the time that Eli has. This offensive line, what a great job against a Texan team that usually gets after quarterback pretty well.
By the way, Eli at one point strung together 11 straight completions. Now, the Manning brothers will always be so compared, so let's take a look. Eli threw for a shade under 300 yards and a big win. Peyton, meanwhile, threw for 244, but was held without a touchdown for the first time this season after throwing a league-high 11 touchdown passes in the first 4 games. Now let's go to the sequel of the Giants-Texan games. And Houston, we should tell you, sequels are never as good as the original, so you might want to cut your eyes. This is not good. Nothing worked. They tried to get Arian Foster involved a million different ways, and the Giants' defense was up to the task.
The Giants played faster. They penetration, disruption from the passing game to the running game. Nothing the Texans could do could neutralize what was happening up front for the Giants.
And that's why play action doesn't work when the run isn't going so well. Corey Webster there with the interception. Now Foster, again, came in over 500 rushing yards through the first 4 games. And you know what the Giants said? We don't care. 11 rushes, 25 yards on the afternoon. The rest of the team had 4 carries for 1 yard. Oh, by the way, they got after the quarterback. Osi Umenyiora strips him. Justin Tuck recovers the fumble. Osi's 2nd sack of the game. Late third quarter, Shaw back to pass, and Justin Tuck says, I got this one. Held without a TD pass for the first time all season. Giants win 34-10 in a walk. All right. So now Michael Vick with the rib injury. Let's go back to Kevin Cobb at quarterback, playing in San Francisco against the winless Niners. Eagles first possession at their own 38. Cobb is a pretty good athlete in his own right, by the way. Rolls right, throws back left to a wide open Brent Selleck, gain of 32. Trent, everybody's talking about the escapability of Michael Vick, and deservedly so. Dare I say this, Vick-esque?
He did. Kevin Cobb did a great job extending the play all night long, keeping his eyes downfield, staying a passer, finds Brent Selleck. Really nice play by Kevin Cobb.
And Selleck just drags a defender into the end zone. Well done. And then Kevin Cobb one more time scrambling. This might have been your favorite play of the game.
This is saucy. The pump fake 8 yards down the field. They always fall for it. I love the pump fake. I want to go back and be a pump fake.
12 yards past the line of scrimmage, and still that.
Oh, pump faker.
Then there was an interesting night for Alex Smith. Here, Brandon Graham just unleashes the fury on him. It's a fumble. Quentin Michael picks it up, 52 yards for the score. The Eagles are up 24-10 at this point in the fourth quarter, and Mike Singletary's going, man, what do we have to do to win a game?
Very seldom do I feel sorry for a team, but I feel sorry for this team and Alex Smith.
Now look at this, a little jawing back and forth on the sidelines between Singletary Darian Smith, and then on 3rd and 10, that's to no one in particular. All right, so Alex Smith is like, well, what's going on? David Carr, what? I'm going in the game? Hey, I think I'm going in the game.
Oh, let's give him one more chance.
Now, Mike Singletary and Alex Smith start talking about this. Now, wait a minute. Let me finish, Coach. Let me finish.
I was watching Prime Time, and they said we need points.
Okay,
so let's get some points.
Look at this. David Carr starts to walk on. Then there's Alex Smith saying, dude, where are you going? There's Alex Smith. I'm in. Talked his way back in. David Carr was like, oh, man, it was that close.
Ooh, that's good stuff.
All right, so now you got to respond if they're putting you back in. And Trent, he responded.
I'll tell you, he played the best football of his life after that. He talks himself back in the lineup, come out and plays completely decisive, but the Philadelphia Eagles, after the big touchdown, come out on 1st down, get big chunk yardage, getting Jeremy Maclin matched up on linebackers. You got to love the play call and the execution.
Now, that would lead to a field goal, so they're up by 10 in the 4th quarter. 27-17, but Alex Smith does not fold, goes right back to Frank Gore, and it's a swing pass, and just like that, it's a 3-point game. Singletary says we're still in it. They force a punt when LaShawn McCoy fell down before the 1st down marker, just sort of dived, and then on this, Alex Smith is rocked as he throws. It's intercepted by Trevor Lindley. The Eagles hang on to win 27-24. When we continue here on NFL Primetime, Christmas came in October for the Bucs, who watched the Bengals absolutely hand them a win, especially down the stretch in Cincinnati. And how do you sum up the Chargers season? Up, down, up, down, up, down. They were down on Sunday. The Raiders rose up.
Well, this is what we have been waiting for. Oh, is that beautiful? Oh, my. Oh, wow.
Not too shabby. Woke this crowd up.
When you can move like that, great things are going to happen.
If you could harness the electricity in this place today, we'd never pay another energy bill.
How do you like me now?
Wow. You got to admit, this is kind of fun to watch right now.
Right in the front.
That's like winning the lottery, dude.
Really?
I got that spot once.
Morning, you saying?
Hey, guys.
Hey. And the guy was about to go in, right? So I sort of duck under him,
right.
You know. Man, he pops out of the car. His chili is running so hot, right? I'm like, dude, it's a parking spot. Relax, right? It's no big deal. Slow day, huh?
Listen.
Man, I would kill for that schedule.
Me too, man. Oh, I'm telling you, me too.
Sports Center, weekdays at 0700 CET on ESPN America. The NFL is on ESPN America. Every Sunday, Chris Berman and the gang get you primed for all the matchups on the 25th season of Sunday NFL Countdown. Then, catch a triple header of the best games from across the league. And when the weekend's over, the action is far from it. Monday Night Countdown gets you pumped for Monday Night Football Live. So if you are looking for NFL action, look no further. We've got it all, including the playoffs, the Pro Bowl, and the Super Bowl. Football's best go head-to-head all season long, live on ESPN America, home of the NFL.
Hi, I'm Chris Mortensen. In my 20th year at ESPN, you can catch me on NFL Monday Countdown, all things ESPN, right here on ESPN America.
Welcome back to Primetime. I'm Susie Colbert at the Meadowlands with this team report. Once again, the Jets have one of the best run games in the NFL. Very satisfying for the Jets brass, who were widely criticized for replacing Thomas Jones with LaDainian Tomlinson. But they insist that was like apples to oranges, that LT is just a better complement to Sean Green. His pass protection and his great catching ability, those hands have been invaluable. As for how LT is running the ball, well, even Rex Ryan admitted they didn't expect 6.1 yards per carry. He said, quote, better than outstanding. Back to Primetime.
Primetime rolls on with a little football primer. 3 teams that were in the playoffs in 09 snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Let's call this learning how to lose. And let's start with the Bucs and Bengals.
Do we get extra credit?
Well, you might need it. We certainly think the Bengals could need it. Carson Palmer playing Tampa Bay, wide open Terrell Owens. Owens' 50th career 100-yard game, Cincinnati up 7-0. Things are going well. Early second quarter, All hail Cody Grimm, the son of Hall of Famer now Russ Grimm. Pick 6, great read by him.
Yeah, it really is. But as a quarterback, the stop route, you got to see the defense coming from the inside out. Carson Palmer never locates Grimm.
All right, so that tied the game at 7. Let's go to the 4th. Just over 2 minutes to play. They have the ball and a 7-point lead. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, no. Look at this. Aqib Talib comes up with the pick.
We're teaching you how to lose.
Yes.
Have the ball, 7 points, 2 minutes. You don't force the ball down the football field. Lesson number 1 on learning how to lose.
Jermaine Gresham was underneath.
Wide open.
Nothing else. Run some clock, and if you have to punt. Okay, so the Bucs get the ball around midfield. Josh Freeman, who is quite becoming the great comeback artist young in his career. Unbelievable catch by Mike Williams in the end zone.
Oh, he made so many big-time catches in this game. This is just one of a few.
All right, so that tied it up at 21 after the extra point. So now 25 seconds left, and off Ocho Cinco's hands into the arms, awaiting arms, the happy arms of Sabby Piscatelli. And he returns it all the way to the 35-yard line. So wait a minute, now not only is this game tied, there's a chance the Bengals could lose without this thing going into overtime, and we need a primetime dime.
Well, and it comes at the perfect spot, the primetime dime. Josh Freeman to Spurlock. Look at that throw and catch. Unbelievable synergy between the two of them.
Did I tell you something else was coming? That was a primetime dime.
Woo! Antonio Holmes, Super Bowl 43 toe tap-esque. So now, all that you have to do is have Connor Barth nail a 31-yarder. They had the ball with 2.5 minutes to play and a 7-point lead at home, and they don't even lose in overtime. They lose in regulation, 24-21. All right, then you have the Chargers and the Raiders. San Diego has owned this division. They've owned the Raiders. They've got 13 straight wins against them, but Norv Turner and company had some issues with the special teams trying to make it 14 in a row. First punt of the game, Mike Cyphers. That's blocked by Rock Cartwright. Rolls out of the end zone for a safety. It's 2-0, an RBI double. Special teams coach Steve Crosby not happy. Oh, wait, how about the next punt? 5-0 now. And it's another one blocked by Brandon Myers, and Hiram Eugene picks it up and runs it in. He wasn't touched.
Another lesson on how to lose is don't block the inside rusher on punt protection. Inexcusable mistake by the San Diego Chargers.
But the outside
12-0. Steve Crosby's still upset.
Yep.
They were channeling the Dolphins special teams from last Monday night. And then the next Chargers possession, 3rd and goal from 1. Mike Tolbert fumbles. Mike Mitchell recovers. So we got 2 special team scores and a fumble on the 1-yard line.
Yeah, you're learning how to lose, audience, by watching foolish mistakes by a team that should be good.
Next Chargers possession, 2nd and 7. Phillip Rivers, who's thrown for a ton of yards again on Sunday, sacked by Matt Shaughnessy. Waited a little too long on that one, though, Trent, right?
A little too long. 3 hitches, a little much.
Okay, so now what Phillip Rivers, I told you he threw for a ton of yards. Antonio Gates, that's nice catch.
They can be so explosive. They have all the weaponry. They just need to handle the simple little details of every game, because this guy, number 17, can pull the trigger, get it downfield to Malcolm Floyd.
Like that. By the way, Gates, 9th straight game with a touchdown. That throw to Malcolm Floyd, Chargers for all their mistakes had the lead 24-15. So Bruce Gradkowski is out. Jason Campbell back in, and Zach Miller, just like that. Raiders now down 24-22.
That play won me my fantasy game.
Congratulations. After a Charger field goal, Michael Bush runs it in. 2-point conversion fails. Oakland leads 28-27. So there's 1:10 left to play. Chargers are on the move. Wait a minute, the ball comes out. It's bouncing around. Is it an incompletion? Is it a fumble? Tyvon Branch says, I don't care. See ball, get ball, pick up ball, score with ball.
And that's smart football.
Exactly. They reviewed it. It was indeed a fumble situation, and the Raiders end the streak 35-27. Now let's take a look at the Packers in D.C. to take on the Redskins. Clinton Portis out of this.
A little coach in there. Now, this is how I look at him.
I'm not telling Ryan Terrain how he would probably pick up a blitz, is what he would say more than anything else. All right, it was 13-0 at one point. Early in the 4th, it's 13-3. Donovan McNabb was brought in for big plays like that one. A great throw and a great catch by Anthony Armstrong.
Great job of driving the defensive back, threatening him. And then you get the separation. And all we need now is a primetime dime, right?
And you had one. And the dance thing, apparently the kids.
No, just go back though.
All right, that made it 13-10. Then Chris Cooley, get out of my way. I'm bigger, and I'm stronger, and I'm not going down. All the way to the 35-yard line. So later on that drive, it's not the great Gazoo, it's Graham Gano. Bangs home a 45-yarder, and just like that, we're tied at 13. However, Aaron Rodgers is going to do his part. Remember, 2 tight ends are out with injuries here, so he hits Andrew Quarless for the 35 yards down to the 35-yard line. Packers would rush, get it into field goal range. Mason Crosby's a very good kicker from 53. Stoink! Off the outside of the left upright. No good. We go to overtime. In overtime, it's the second possession for the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers trying to get something going. Hit as he's thrown, and it's picked up by LaRon Landry. Gets up and brings the ball down to the 16. However, the play was reviewed. The interception would stand, but you can see as he makes the catch, he's just touched by Greg Jennings, so he's down.
So he's considered down, but what a great job of digging that ball out of the ground and not letting it hit the ground, or it would have been incomplete.
Now, Rodgers hit the ground here, and that's a play that gave him a concussion. They're not sure if he's going to be able to go next week. He's definitely missing playing time. Ensuing Redskins drive off play action. McNabb throws it incomplete to Mike Sellers, but Brady Papinga is flagged, and he does not like it. Later in the drive, McNabb looking for Armstrong again. Now, Charles Woodson doesn't like this one, but that's about as blatant an interference as you're going to have with that right arm.
That right arm's over Armstrong's back. He reaches around to the left, but the right is still on his back. That's what they look for.
So the Redskins put in field goal range, and Gano, maybe he is the great Kazoo, because he does it again in overtime. And the Redskins are now 3-2, big win, 16-13. They played 2 overtime games already this year through the first 5. However, the Packers are losing more than games. Look at the injuries starting to add up. We're not sure about Rodgers' status for next week. Jermichael Finley's going to miss a couple of weeks. Clay Matthews, they think he's going to be fine. Donald Lee also has some issues. The only good news for the Packers here, they don't think the injury to Clay Matthews is going to be serious. But as you look at this, you see those injuries piling up. They have already lost Nick Barnett and Morgan Burnett. Their defensive back, they got lots of problems. Aaron Rodgers taking lots of hits, but that's not the only issue that concerns you here, Trent.
No, and everybody's going to talk about those injuries. And they're significant injuries. But let me tell you a disturbing trend that was going on before most of those injuries. And that's that the Green Bay Packers can't finish football games. You want to look for a sustainable thing when you're looking at teams. See how they play in the clutch moments, the fourth quarter. Look at this team in the fourth quarter on offense. 18 possessions. In a fourth quarter in OT, 2 touchdowns, 8 punts, 3 interceptions, a lost fumble. This is pathetic end of the game football. Let's also mention in their 2 losses, fourth quarter, 11 penalties for 102 yards. I look at teams, we always talk about this. How do you play when it matters the most? The fourth quarter, Green Bay Packers, a lot of people drinking that Kool-Aid, but this is not a good team when it matters the most.
They got up big in the game against Detroit at home, and then they had to hang on for a 2-point win, 28-26. And you mentioned the Monday night meltdown when they had all those penalties against the Chicago Bears. Then you have the Bengals. Okay, this was a team that not only won their division last year, swept the division. They seem to do everything they can to keep a team in a game instead of putting them away right now.
And, last year, if you think about them, they played such physical football on both sides. And I think most football fans would know, Carson Palmer's been inconsistent. Wide receivers, inconsistent. Their offensive line, inconsistent. But it's their defense that probably shocks me more than anything. As I watch them, their front four gets 0 pressure. Even when they blitz, they're inconsistent. They run into each other. Their linebackers are out of position a ton of the time. They give up big plays, talking about the fourth quarter, when it matters. Are their corners pretty good on the outside? Yeah, but when you look at their defense, which I thought would be drastically improved, it's just okay. You can run on Tampa Bay, trust me, does not have a very good running game.
Not real
and they gashed the Cincinnati Bengals all day long. So when you put that together, I don't know, there's a lot of people, Green Bay and Cincinnati, in the Super Bowl together.
Right.
Neither one of these teams are even close to resembling what would probably represent the National Football League on the AFC or NFC side in the Super Bowl.
Again, these things are bad right now for the Packers.
However, they're not getting better week to week.
One thing we've learned, you can't count anybody out after 5.
No, not at all.
Oh, no, you can't.
But you can look at some disturbing trends.
Yeah, and there are some trends that have been very disturbing with the last couple of games for the Packers and the Bengals. However, the Falcons are one of those teams that are going the other way. They find ways to win. And wait till you see perhaps the catch of the day by a defensive lineman. And speaking of a defensive lineman, welcome back, Julius. Safe to say, I think you enjoyed your return trip to Carolina.
This October on ESPN America, it's game time, and we've got it all. MLB's top teams gear up for the playoffs. Who will make it to the World Series? The superstars of the NHL are back and ready to fire up a new season. Plus, all the top college football action. And the NFL's best collide each week as the new season rolls on. The brightest stars, the biggest games, All this month, live on ESPN America.
It will be physical. Somebody gonna get hit.
Monday Night Football live on ESPN America. Week 5 kicks off with a heavyweight showdown. Fresh off their bye week, AP and the Vikings head into the Meadowlands to battle Mark Sanchez and the division-leading Jets.
He's to the 20, cut back to the 15, 10, accelerates to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown!
Coverage starts tonight at 0100 CET with Monday NFL Countdown. Monday Night Football live on ESPN America, home of the NFL. College football lives here on ESPN America. Every Saturday, Chris Fowler and the gang get you ready for the matchups on ESPN's all-new 3-hour college game day. Then, catch live games from campuses across the U.S. Want even more college football action? We've got it all. Tons of bowl games, including every game in the Bowl Championship Series and the BCS National Championship game. Plus, weekdays, stay on top of the action with College Football Live. The biggest names, the biggest games every Saturday. College football lives here all season long, live on ESPN America.
Jumped over the lazy dog.
Good. I'll take those off. And let's try it again.
A quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. That's amazing.
I told you.
You're good. A quick brown fox jumped over the lazy.
You're watching NFL Primetime, delivered by Papa John's.
All right, earlier we showed you teams trying to lose or showing you how to lose. Eric Mangini and the Browns saw a team that was finding ways to win, mainly because John Abraham made it a long day for him against Joe Thomas. Yeah, that's not going to work. Trips up Seneca Wallace for the sack.
Yeah, that's not chopped liver, too. He's beat.
No, Joe Thomas is pretty darn good. All right, Abraham again. Goodbye. Have fun storming the castle. Takes him down again. Wallace was actually hurt on the play. He'd hop off, literally. They may have to start Colt McCoy next week at quarterback against the Steelers.
Oh, that ought to be
brings in Jake Delhomme. And this is not what you're not good. Nope. Dropping into coverage this time. Okay? He's everywhere. He's everywhere, and he's got his eyes on Jake Delhomme. He sees where the ball's going, and boom! Breaks up the pass intended for Ben Watson. Abraham, by the way, 2 tackles, 2 sacks, 5 tackles. And then there's Troy Bierman, ladies and gentlemen. All hail the beauty of Troy Bierman as Peyton Hillis tries to get back there. And Peyton Hillis is going to win that battle every time.
Yeah.
Okay? However, I want you to remember the name Troy Bierman for another reason. Okay? I atone for my mistakes.
That's right. Go after.
Oh, so athletic. Gets up. Go, Croy! Run, Croy! From
Montana, big sky country.
41-yard touchdown. Listen, that's hard to do.
Just the first part of that.
And then the second part.
That. And
right
now let's get
there,
to the third part.
The trifecta.
The finish.
A triple
hat trick.
And the Falcons win 20-10. Bears-Panthers. Now, legally, I did not know you were allowed to win in the NFL if you had only 29 passing yards. But the Bears also had that man, Julius Peppers. And he does his own Troy Bierman impersonation. Tipped and intercepted by Julius Peppers.
And he's done this so many times. I think he has great instincts when he's going to be cut. He senses that. He gets his hands up. And then to stay there and keep his eye on the ball and finish it.
Well, and then, speaking of finishing, Matt Forte, in the first 7.5 minutes of the first quarter, won people their fantasy leagues, okay?
Well, made him feel very comfortable.
Yes, 18-yard play on that one, 7-0. That was nothing. Forte reads his blocks. See ya! 68 yards. He had over 100 yards on 4 carries. He ended up with 166 yards on 22 carries and 2 touchdowns. That put the Bears comfortably up 14-3. Later in the first, Bears lead 17-3. Todd Collins. Well, this is why you need Jay Cutler back. Ed Johnson with the interception.
So Jay Cutler could do it?
Well, it's also been his problem over the years in the red zone, but I don't think he would have.
Are you saying you don't like the play call?
I'm saying
4 interceptions.
Gash them in the run game, and yet you still call 4 high-risk passes.
Well,
that get intercepted.
Mike Martz is who he is. 23-6. Bottom line, Bears win 4-1. Panthers, they were nowhere. All right, Rams, Lions. Rams came in tied for first. Lions have been trying so hard in every game, they just hadn't gotten anything going. Second half kickoff, tied at 3. Stephon Logan and scene. 105 yards and gone. By the way, this is the first time since 1970 we've had at least one kick return, sir, put your hand down, in each of the first 5 weeks of the season. 105 yards, longest in Lion history, 6th longest all time.
I'm telling you this, special teams is atrocious in the NFL right now.
It certainly is.
Atrocious.
Yes. Megatron.
True that.
Right there from Sean Hill. Lions pulling away. By the way, Calvin Johnson may have an issue, a little injury. They're concerned about it, but when all else fails, keep throwing to Brandon Pettigrew. It was 24-6. Third quarter. Nate Burleson. Now, he almost got away with premature celebration there, but he got in there 31-6. All right, so now it's number 2 pick of the draft, Ndamukong Suh, against number 1 pick, Sam Bradford. Sam has looked very good. Dropping back, and Ndamukong Suh. Oh, it's the day for the tips and the interceptions by linemen in the NFL. He's still running around.
Ndamukong, get out. I like how he finishes. That's it, big fella.
Led to a field goal. Rams
strut your stuff.
Bradford. And that's picked up by Alphonso Smith, and he returns at 42 yards. Sir, put your hands down. The Lions win big, dominating. That dance needs to go, 44-6. When we continue on NFL Primetime, we hand them out. Who gets them? Game balls coming your way. Stay with us.
NFL Primetime is delivered by...
Hey, what's up? I'm Stuart Scott. Check out Monday Night Countdown all season long right here on ESPN America.
Everybody, all hands on deck except for the prima donnas. If you're a prima donna, you don't have to do this. Let's go. You should be running back there. Let's go. No walking. Hey, Prince, head across the bow. Don't give up that first down, right? Is it my imagination? Or are you getting better on kickoff coverage? Whoa. Pitta. Did you see that? Is it Pitta? That's Pitta. Is it Peter or Pitta? It's Pitta, isn't it? Oh! Tell me that's not on purpose, is it? He's not looking.
He did.
Hey, offensive line. All right? Let's not be shooting ourselves in the foot by starting early or lining up too deep or any other BS. It's not worth it. All right, let's go. Go run, go run, go run. Got him right there. About 3 yards. Clock's running. Clock's running. Got to run, D-line. Spot it, spot it, spot it. Spot the ball. All right, Joe, it's smart, Joe. You kept yourself alive, Joe. It's smart. Tell you, that's the best we've ever been at this stuff this early. Nice job, O. Now let's go do something. Let's go do something. Let's shock the world right here.
Hello, nation.
Anyone?
Super.
Are we on the air?
You got to be kidding me.
Sports Nation, only on ESPN America.
Game Balls is delivered by PapaJohns.com. Just a click of the mouse. Papa's in the house.
All right, time to hand out the awards. Game balls from the Primetime crew. Merrill, I believe that you decided to go an unconventional route.
I got a two-way tie for game balls. First, Julius Peppers, athletic move on the outside. Then Croy Bierman from Montana not only gets the tip, but the catch and the touchdown.
You probably could have put Ndamukong Suh in.
I should have. I'm sorry, Ndamukong.
Those are winners. Sean Hill, though, stepping in for Matthew Stafford, has played really well yesterday. 21-32, 227, 3 touchdowns. Great job.
I'm going with Kevin Cobb. Remember, wow, how could he possibly do what Michael Vick has done? Well, he was really good. 21 of 31, 253 yards, showed athleticism in the pocket and outside of the pocket right there as well. A huge win for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Good job, Merrill.
There are still no wins for the Niners. And Merrill,
Yes.
good job.
Thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
for watching
that.
Primetime.
I really do appreciate that.